Hey, welcome. So we're going to get started with our lesson here, and the purpose of this lesson is that we are going to go through how to program in a language called HTML. And HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And you can keep that in your heads if you want as a little piece of trivia that you can impress people with, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is that this language, HTML, is a language that we can program a web page to look a certain way. Web pages, you can think of web pages as kind of like pieces of paper that are available through the web. They all are hosted somewhere on some computer somewhere, just like the computer you're working on. And because of the way the internet is set up, you can go to what's called a browser, and this is the browser I'm using called Firefox. You might be using something else like Chrome or Internet Explorer. It doesn't really matter. They all basically work the same. And I can type in an address, what's called an address, on this browser window right here, and I can click, enter, and it will go out to the internet, find the right computer, find the right folder in that computer, find the right page in that computer, and it will show it to me. And this is really cool because that means that anywhere throughout the world, as long as a person is connected to the internet, they can share their information, their knowledge, etc. And so I'm going to teach you the programming language, basically the language that we use to talk to the browser that will tell it how to take this page and make it look like this. And I wanted to show you sort of basically what that code is first, and then I'm going to show you a little bit more advanced example, and then I'm going to show you a really cool example so that you can see where we're going to start in terms of what we'll be able to do creating web pages, and then we'll go all the way to super sophisticated, really cool web pages that use video and use images and all that stuff. And we're going to do all of that as we move through our lessons. But this is just an introduction. So first off, you can see up here in my browser, I have a thing. I'm going to click enter here, okay? And what you can see is, first off, this is important. www stands for World Wide Web, and then this, forthuntparent.com, is the name of the site. And that's on some computer somewhere. There is a collection of folders and documents, and I basically just told the internet to go to this one right here, www.forthuntparent.com. Then you can see it says / that's a / which we're going to be using, Academy, okay? And that tells what folder in the computer this document is. And then this is the name of the document, okay? And the name of the document in this case is HTML class. And then you see there's a little dot there, and it says .html. That basically is saying to the computer, this is what type of file it is. And sometimes you're going to see that we use lots of different files. Images have a file, videos have a file. If you were making a document like on Word, if you typed up like a Word document, if you've ever done that, it's usually like .doc or something like that. But .html lets the browser, which is what this is, know that it's HTML. So you can see this is pretty simple. It says hello HTML class students right there. And I'm highlighting it by using my mouse and doing my left click on my mouse and holding it down, and that's where you can highlight text. Well, what's cool about that is that if I right click, and that's if you look at your mouse and you click the right button, okay, then a little option comes up. And this is a little different on Firefox than it would be on Internet Explorer, but basically you're looking for something that says page source. And if you look here, then I get to see the code that made that page. So you can see here that it's not that sophisticated. There's a bunch of little things like this with the greater than and less than symbol, and it says head, and this says greater than body and less than. We call these brackets. So that's a bracket and a bracket. And this is the code that tells the browser what to show and how to show it. And you can see that if I look at this, only one part of this code actually showed up, right? The only thing that showed up was this, hello HTML class students. Everything else was sort of behind the scenes. And that's what we're going to learn. We're going to learn the code that works behind the scenes to make things look a certain way. So you see this code here? Great. We're going to work with that on each lesson. We're going to work with that. So I'm going to X out and go back to the page. So you see only the stuff that was specified as being in the body shows up. None of the what we call tags show up. The tags are really just instructions. But that's a pretty simple web page. So now what I want to do is I want to grab another one that's a little bit more complicated so you can see what kind of cool things you can do with HTML. So we wait for a second. Here you can see this is a page that's a little bit more interesting, but it's the same basic concept. You can see we have video here, we have images, we have what's called a table where you can organize information, you have a list, you have a form here where I could type in my name and I can type in my email address and I can do selections. You can do all this cool stuff. You can even do checkboxes here. And then I can click submit and that information goes somewhere. So this is how websites can receive information from different people. But at its base, and you can see I also have colors here, but at its base it's the same thing. If I right click here and I click view page source, I see the same basic structure, just a lot more tags. And you're going to learn all of these tags. So you're going to be able to make websites that do a lot of these things. Okay? So, this is all right now should look pretty complicated to you. You don't need to know this yet. I just want you to see that this is the type of stuff that we're going to learn how to do with our class here. And then I'm going to X out of that and I'm going to switch over to an even more exciting, actually I'll open up a new browser and give a more exciting page, Disney. Now Disney, you've heard of Disney. Disney makes all these cool movies that we watch. And you can see that this is a very cool page. And you can see that you have moving images down here. And you can see lots of pictures. And you see lots of color and buttons and all kinds. You got these things, these little things where the images can move. All kinds of cool stuff. And this is all stuff that you can do with the programming language that you're going to learn here and in some future classes. And let me just show you that that's true. I'm going to do right click here and click view page source. Now get ready because this is very complicated. You can see lots of code, but I'm going to tell you that by the time you get done with this 8 lessons, most of the codes that you see here you're going to be familiar with and you're going to be able to work with. Some of the codes that I'm introducing here that's going to come in future lessons, but a lot of the stuff that they do on this page you're going to be able to do just after these 8 lessons. Okay, so that's what I really wanted to show you. I want to just review a couple basics. We go back here. The basic thing that we're working on is we're learning how to create pages like this, but we're doing it behind the scenes by learning how to program in what's called HTML. That's what this is, HTML. And we're going to go over every one of these codes in the next lesson. And it's by using these things called tags, these things that have the greater than, less than sign, and then a name in it, and then it has an end tag, which we'll talk about. That'll be your next video, which you're going to learn how to write a tag like that. It's by doing tags like this, putting them in the right order, putting text in, putting images in, putting video in, that you're able to make a cool page that does what you want it to do. Okay? So I'm very excited that you're here with me and that we're going to go through how to create web pages like this. And after you're done with this video, when this video ends, I want you to click on the next link, which is, let's see, what's the next link? Is going to be basics, how to write an
welcome.
HTML
This is
tag.
lesson.
Okay, and that's going to show you specifically, it's going to launch a video and it's going to show you specifically how you're going to write a specific tag. Now we're going to go over all the different kinds of tags later, but this just goes over the basics of what a tag looks like. All right, I'm looking forward to it. Let's get started. What you want to do now is click on this item here, basics, how to write an HTML tag.